Welcome to the Mana Recaps. This is The Flash, Season 1. Meet Barry Allen, the brilliant, mild-mannered CSI tech. When he was a kid, his mom was murdered by these mysterious flashes of light, and because that's crazy, of course, his dad went away for it. So all these years, he's secretly been working to solve his mom's murder and prove his dad's innocence. Star Labs is celebrating the launch of their new particle accelerator created by the genius Harrison Wells. But something goes wrong, it explodes, and that night Barry's struck by lightning. And that was no normal lightning bolt, because Barry now has, boom! Yeah, he's got super speed. He works with the Star Labs team to figure out his powers. There's Cisco Ramon, the funny guy, genius mechanical engineer, Dr. Caitlin Snow, super nice biochem, and of course the man Harrison Wells himself, who's in a wheelchair now. He was paralyzed the night of the explosion. So with their help, Barry figures out his powers and he becomes the Flash, the fastest man alive. Now Barry has a crush on Iris West, daughter of Detective Joe West, who took Barry in after his mom's murder. So basically Barry has a crush on his stepsister. No, that's not weird. She has a boyfriend right now anyway, this hot cop Eddie, but she wants to be a journalist and she's real interested in this new superhero they're calling the Streak. So she starts up her own blog and gives him the much better name, the Flash. But Barry's not the only one who got powers that night. There's a whole rogues gallery of one-off villains who have powers depending on where they were when the wave hit. So with his science team in his earpiece, Barry figures out ways to use his speed to take down all sorts of metahuman threats. Hilariously, no matter the situation, the solution is always run faster. Among the infinite one-off metahuman threats is Barry's first nemesis, the non-metahuman genius criminal Leonard Snart. When he steals a freeze ray that Cisco made, he becomes Captain Cold. Another recurring villain is the giant genius gorilla Grodd. He shows up once per season. Another big plot this season is Caitlin Snow's fiance Robbie, who died the night of the particle accelerator explosion. But another scientist who was there, Dr. Martin Stein, was holding a science thing and Robbie's essence got blown into him. They combined into one person with fire powers called Firestorm. But now the main villain of season 1 is another speedster. He's all in yellow and introduces himself as the Reverse Flash. Now that Barry knows what a speedster is, it's super obvious that this is the guy who killed his mom. As it turns out, Harrison Wells has a secret. He is the Reverse Flash. Turns out this guy's not Harrison Wells at all. His name is Eobard Thawne, the Flash's arch nemesis from the future. The real Harrison Wells was a good guy, but Eobard Thawne, with some future tech, stole his identity. He and the Flash traveled back through time during one of their standard speedster fights. It was that night he killed Barry's mom, but when he went to leave, his powers had been drained. He got trapped back in our time. I'm sorry, Cisco, I really do like you. You're like a son to me, but I'm an evil sociopath. Vibrating hand and speedster through the heart. Elsewhere that same day, Barry tells Iris how he feels about her, and these two have their passionate kiss. But the metahuman threat of the week is sending a tidal wave at Central City, and to stop it, Barry's, you guessed it, gotta run fast. In fact, he runs so fast, it's the first time he, travels through time. Yes, there's a lot of time travel shenanigans on this show. We're just getting started. So with his knowledge of the future, Barry catches the weather wizard immediately, changing the course of the day. Cisco never finds out Wells' secret. And this time when Barry confesses his love for Iris, the whole situation's different. She's like, ew, you're like my brother, and I'm dating someone. Not cool, Barry. Soon though, even in this new timeline, they start to suspect Harrison Wells, and the gang stumbles across his secret science man cave. From the newspaper headline, Barry learns that in a few years, he will die in the crisis. More on that later. So Thawne tells Barry the whole backstory he told Cisco in the day that never happened. And it's like, yo kid, if you open a time portal for me, I'll go back to my own time, be out of your hair. And more than that, you can use it to go back to the night your mom was killed and save her. So Barry agrees, and Thawne teaches him how to open a time portal, which is basically run real fast. If you run fast enough, you enter the Speed Force. More on that later. So poof, Barry's traveled back to his childhood home the night his mom was killed. His future self is there fighting the Reverse Flash, but he sees our Barry and is like, no, don't do it. So he carries Kid Barry away, and Thawne goes to stab his mom, but Barry trusts his future self and lets it happen. But now Barry's back, boom, breaks the time machine. He figures since I didn't get to save my mom, our deal's off. And it's time for the final speedster fight. Phew, phew. The Reverse Flash is about to win when, a shot rings out, but wait, who was hit? It was Eddie who shot himself. No, Eddie. Turns out Eddie's last name is Thawne. Yeah, he is Eobard's great-great-grandfather. As Thawne's descendant, when he's dead, he fades out of existence. But now, for science reasons, the time portal destabilizes and turns into a black hole that threatens to suck up the whole Earth. For more science reasons, Barry can close it, but to do that, he's gonna have to, you guessed it, run really fast. But to fully close it, he needs help from Firestorm, flies up there and defuses in the middle of it. Boom, yeah, that worked. Dr. Stein survives, but unfortunately Ronnie did not. So sad for poor Caitlin. He just got married at the end of last season. Speaking of romance, there's a new hot girl cop on the force, and she's super into nerdy CSI stuff. Long story short, she and Barry date for the whole first half of the season, but then she goes back off to CSI college. Goodbye. Turns out Joe West has a surprise son named Wally. He's a delinquent street racer, but soon becomes part of the family. So life goes on in Central City with a new one-off metahuman attacking every week. But why have they never seen these metahumans before? Well, turns out they are from a parallel Earth. They call it Earth 2, one of a series of infinite infinite Earths and strap yourself in cause it's multiverse time. This handsome man who tells them about it is Jay Garrick. He is the Flash over on Earth 2, and his arch nemesis there is a speedster with blue lightning called Zoom. The black hole they caused at the end of Season 1 opened a portal between the worlds, and Jay Garrick got sucked in through it. And now Zoom is using smaller portals all over the city to bring through Earth 2 metahumans and have them attack the Flash. One of the Earth 2 metahumans is a giant shark, man! What? Yes, he's called King Shark, and much like Gorilla Grodd, he shows up about once a season. Anyway, the guy who took down King Shark is the Earth 2 Dr. Harrison Wells. Much like his real Earth 1 counterpart, he's the genius behind Star Labs. But this one carries a laser gun, and he's real grumpy. It's weird having Dr. Wells back on the team, so they call this guy Harry. Turns out this Harrison Wells is working for him because he has his daughter Jessie hostage. They forgive him though. You were just doing what you had to do to save your daughter, and now we're gonna help you. And it's time for a bro road trip over to Earth 2. But Earth 2 Firestorm is a villain, along with his girlfriend Caitlin Snow, who on this Earth has crazy ice powers. She's Killer Frost. She leads them to Zoom's dungeon where they rescue Jessie and make it back to Earth 1, gonna close the breach behind him, but not before Zoom, stabs Jay Garrick through the heart. No! In the meantime, Cisco starts having trippy clairvoyant visions of what's going on elsewhere or in the future. He builds some sweet shades to help him focus his power, and he goes by the name Vibe. Cisco tries to vibe Jay, but turns out Jay is Zoom. Yes, 2 seasons in a row, the villain was one of their friends in disguise. Turns out his real name is Hunter Zolomon. He was a serial killer on Earth 2 that got the Flash powers. He started playing both villain and hero just for fun and to mess with people. But wait a minute, who was the Jay Garrick he killed? Well, that was a time remnant of himself he created by going back just a little bit so he could be on Earth 2 and 1 at the same time. So last season they defeated the Reverse Flash, and in the time he spent mentoring Barry, he came to like him a little bit. He especially felt bad about his father in prison, so he left a will as Harrison Wells confessing to the murder of Barry's mom. So yes, it happens, Barry's dad is out of jail. Their celebration is short-lived, however, when Zoom crashes the party. No, don't do it, but Zoom does. Kills Barry's father. So for complicated reasons, instead of a fight, it comes down to a race. And so boom, they're racing around this big science thing, which turns out with 2 speedsters powering it up would destroy all the other Earths in the multiverse. So to stop it, Barry's gotta use one of Zoom's tricks and create a time remnant of himself. While one of them fights Zoom, the other one runs around the science thing real fast, sacrificing himself but saving the multiverse. And the surviving Barry defeats Zoom, so the day is saved? So wait a minute, Barry, what's the deal with your time remnant? You're telling me that the future you came back in time then sacrificed himself? Barry's like, hey, don't worry about it. Hopefully it won't come back to haunt me later. For now though, they rescue the mystery man in the iron mask, and turns out it is a doppelganger of Barry's father. Yes, this is the real Jay Garrick, who is the Flash on Earth 3. So the day is saved and everyone's going back to their own Earths. Team Flash is an expert in this multiverse stuff now. Barry though is still super sad about his dad's death, so he decides to do some time travel back to the night his mother was murdered. And this time, consequences be damned, he busts in there and saves her. And it worked. Now in the present, both of his parents are alive and well. Great success. But the world's different in some other ways. Barry Allen never became the Flash here. It's actually Wally West who got Flash powers, going by Kid Flash. The biggest change though, without his mother's death, Barry never went to live with the West, so he never met Iris. He has to orchestrate to meet cute so they can start dating, but as that's happening, he's starting to lose memories of his previous life. He goes to see the Reverse Flash, Eobard Thawne, who he's got locked in a cage, and he names this alternate timeline Flashpoint. He's like, yeah kid, time travel is messy. Pretty soon you'll forget your old life entirely, and you'll lose your powers, so Barry has no choice but to run him back to the past and let him kill his mom. So back in the real present day, everything's normal again, except is it though? Caitlin has the ice powers of her Earth 2 doppelganger Killer Frost. It seems like a split personality thing. Sometimes Killer Frost takes over and goes full supervillain. She and Cisco face off about a dozen times. He's always like, Caitlin, I know you're in there, and she's always like, no, I'm not. And so Barry has to accept things are stuck the way they are now in this post-Flashpoint timeline. But some of the people who are metahuman villains in the Flashpoint timeline are having memories of that alternate life. They're being summoned by this creepy cultist plague doctor guy who calls himself Alchemy and can somehow give them their Flashpoint powers. And so per usual, there's a whole series of one-off villains of the week. One day, Earth 2 Harrison Wells comes for a visit with his daughter Jessie, who's now a speedster. She trains with the Flash and goes by the superhero name Jessie Quick. Pretty soon though, her and her dad are going home to Earth 2, but he doesn't want to leave Team Flash without Harrison Wells. So they hold auditions from the whole multiverse of Wells, some of whom look hilarious. They find one though who seems like a great fit, so Cisco vibes him on over, and HR Wells joins the team. Harry was a very grumpy Wells, but HR is extremely friendly, real nice guy. But pretty soon it becomes apparent he has no idea about any of this science stuff. One day, Wally West starts having memories of when he was Kid Flash over in Flashpoint. He goes to see Alchemy, but turns out Alchemy was just the hype man. The real big bad is a speedster with white lightning. Oh, he's a crazy robot transformer guy. Yes, he calls himself Savitar, the god of speed. As usual with a new speedster villain, he's way faster than Barry, but can't just kill him right now for complicated supervillain reasons. But that temporarily blasts Barry a few months into the future, where he sees himself facing off with Savitar, who has Iris, and no, he kills her. So now the main goal is to alter that future and save Iris's life. Another change from Flashpoint is that Barry has a partner at the CSI lab. It's Julian Albert, a metahuman specialist who does not get along with Barry. Eventually, the Flash takes Alchemy down, and turns out Alchemy is Julian. He's not evil though, he has no memory of it. Turns out he found that Philosopher's Stone, and oh, it possessed him. By the way, Wally couldn't resist, he touches Alchemy's Philosopher's Stone, and boom! Wally's got speedster powers, officially joins Team Flash as Kid Flash. Romance blooms between our new speedsters, Jesse and Wally, and Papa Joe West has a new girlfriend, District Attorney Cecile Horton. Barry and Iris have their actual first kiss this time. It's number 3 for him, but the others got erased. And from here on out, Barry and Iris are dating for real. Barry and Iris put their relationship on super speed, they move in together, then he proposes, but they have a big fight, but then there's a musical episode with Supergirl, then he proposes again while singing. The best romance though is between Cisco and Gypsy, an interdimensional bounty hunter. Yeah, she's got vibe powers too, and of course you can't have a season of Flash without Gorilla Grodd. Last season they sent him to the Earth 2 Gorilla City. Now he tricked Barry into fighting his gorilla rival so Grodd can be king and lead an army of gorillas on Central City. Now back to Savitar. Savitar's not a robot, he's a man in a suit, and pretty soon Barry Allen finds out who's inside. It is himself! Yes, future evil Barry Allen! Turns out this guy is a time remnant Barry created to help him fight Savitar, but when he survived, everyone shunned him because it was weird, and now he became Savitar. Cisco goes to the time travel explanation board to try to explain it, but it's still super confusing. And so finally the day has come, Savitar captures Iris, and so here we are, we failed to change anything, and oh, Iris is killed! No! But wait, what's this? That's not Iris, it is H.R. Wells! Yes, earlier he sneakily disguised himself as Iris, didn't tell Barry so Savitar wouldn't know, and so H.R. Wells sacrificed himself to save the future. And so it's the final showdown. While the speedsters all run around, Cisco and Killer Frost having their final battle, and so when Savitar grabs him, gonna kill Cisco, oh, blasted with frost power, yeah, Caitlin was still in there. In the end though, good Barry Allen, oh, phases into the Savitar suit, kicks the other one out. He blasts that thing apart like, yo man, you're done. Savitar goes for a final sneak attack, but oh, shot by Iris West, and evil Barry's erased from the timeline. And now the day is saved, or is it? Cause there's a crazy lightning storm going on. Yes, with the Speed Force prison unoccupied, it's unstable, gonna destroy the multiverse. So Barry says his goodbyes, he thinks he's going away forever, and he walks into the Speed Force. That's how season 3 of The Flash comes to an end. With the Flash gone, it's up to our backup heroes to defend Central City, especially Wally West, who's now leading Team Kid Flash. One day though, they figure it's time to do some science stuff and bring Barry Allen back. It doesn't seem to work though, because the portal opened up across town, and coming out of it is naked, bearded Barry Allen. But when the portal opened up, it showered everyone on the bus with dark matter, and yes, it's created a whole new series of one-off metahuman villains of the week, the Bus Metas. To help them face these new threats, Team Flash needs a Harrison Wells, and this season it's the same grumpy Earth 2 Harry Wells from season 2 who steps right back into his love-hate relationship with Cisco. Cisco's still dating Gypsy, the interdimensional bounty hunter, but cross-Earth long distance is really tough, and even though they still love each other, they call it quits. Things are going great though with Captain Joe West and DA Cecile Horton. In fact, she's pregnant, so Papa Joe's gonna be a papa again. And for fake science reasons, becoming pregnant has unlocked Cecile's latent metahuman powers. She can read minds now. Now what about Dr. Caitlin Snow, who left Team Flash at the end of last season? She's been dealing with her Killer Frost alternate ego, who she hulks out into sometimes. Pretty soon though, Caitlin's friends convince Killer Frost they're her friends too, so they convince her to rejoin Team Flash. Now, one of the bus metas is Ralph Dibny, private investigator, who ends up with stretchy powers, so soon he joins Team Flash as the Elongated Man, which kind of sounds more like a porn actor than a superhero. Now remember, Barry and Iris got engaged last season, and it's time for the wedding, but it's rudely interrupted by their evil Nazi doppelgangers from another Earth. Yes, it's the big crossover this season, Crisis on Earth X, and long story short, at the end of it, Barry and Iris do get married in a joint wedding with Oliver and Felicity from Arrow. But now for the main plot. Turns out, pulling the strings behind the scenes is this evil Professor X looking guy called the Thinker. He created a thinking cap to make him smarter, and on the night of the particle accelerator explosion, it blasted his brain with dark matter, turned him into a super genius, but unfortunately his body is dying. That's why he's got to sit in the creepy sci-fi wheelchair. The Thinker captures one of the bus metas whose telepathic powers let him steal his body. But DeVoe dumped his original body in Barry Allen's apartment, made it look like he killed him, and yeah, Barry Allen's going to jail. He has to team up with the other bus metas he's captured so far, and together they escape. But that's exactly what DeVoe wanted, because now he flies in and takes all their powers. Until finally he captures the final bus meta, Ralph Dibny. Yes, Ralph's stretchy cells can handle his super brain, and as an added bonus, he can transform back to his original appearance. And now DeVoe, the Thinker, with all of the bus meta powers, has his own epic Darth Vader Rogue One hallway moment. His evil master plan is to launch some satellites into orbit and use them to take away everyone on Earth's intelligence and rule the world as the only smart person. Turns out the key is DA Cecile Horton's new telepathic powers. With them, she's able to send Barry into DeVoe's mind. There he finds the mind of Ralph Dibny still alive, and if they can escape, the Thinker's defeated, Ralph's got his body back. With DeVoe gone, they're able to stop the Enlightenment, but he left one more trap for them. He's sending the satellite crashing into Earth. And so the Flash has to stop a falling satellite the only way he knows how, by running really fast and punching it in the face. But wait, what's this? Time freezes and reverses. Someone time traveled. But it wasn't Barry this time, it was a mystery speedster with purple and gold lightning who goes up and helps double punch it. Boom! Satellite exploded and the day is saved. Joe and Cecile have their baby, and as the whole team's celebrating, this random new girl comes to the door. She is Nora West Allen, yes, Barry and Iris's daughter from the future. As far as the time travel shenanigans go on this show, it's pretty standard stuff. Yes, Nora is also a speedster, goes by the name XS. Pretty soon though, Barry gets her trained up and she's capturing metahuman villains, but what's this? Oh, this one is killed! This new villain is called Cicada, because of the rattling sound his breathing mask makes. He controls a wicked lightning bolt-shaped knife that dampens metahuman powers, and without their powers, Team Flash is useless against him. So to help them catch this killer, Team Flash needs a Harrison Wells. There's many in the multiverse that aren't helpful right now, but one of them is a master detective. In fact, he goes by his middle name, Sherlock. They soon discover that on the night of the Enlightenment, shards from DeVoe's satellite hit various pieces of technology, infusing them with dark matter, turning them into metatech. And so, once again, the various villains of the week were accidentally created by Team Flash. This is where Cicada's dagger came from too. That night he and his niece got blown up, the dagger landed in his chest, making him a metahuman fused with it. His niece Grace got hit too. She's in a coma now, and he's vowed to kill all metahumans to take vengeance. Cisco Ramon spends the first half of the season moping over his recent breakup with Gypsy. In the end though, the best way to get over your ex is to meet someone new. It's this cute photographer bartender, Camilla. They hit it off, and by the end of the season, they're going steady. Now remember last season, the Thinker took away Caitlin Snow's Killer Frost powers, and turns out her powers didn't come from the particle accelerator explosion. Killer Frost has been a part of her since childhood. Long story short, Caitlin tracks down her father, who also has an evil icy split personality, and this one unfortunately has taken full control of him. So to save her friends, Caitlin's gotta, Ice Blast! Yeah, Killer Frost is back! And of course, one day, Gorilla Grodd is back, here to conquer Central City again. This time to stop him, they gotta bring in another giant animal. It's King Shark! Meanwhile, Cicada is still out there killing metahumans. Now the Flash can't beat this guy with speed alone, so he has to use his real superpower, emotional heart-to-hearts that convince villains to find the goodness within. Oh, talk new jutsu, my only weakness. But who's this busting in? It's another Cicada! Turns out it is his grown-up niece Grace from the future. She's like, hey uncle, I came back from the future to help continue our mission, kill all metahumans. But he's like, yo Gracie, I was wrong, this isn't the life I want for you. But oh, she kills him! She is too far gone! Now this whole time Sherlock has been suspicious of Nora. Indeed, this whole time she's been communicating with someone in the future, and eventually Sherlock discovers her secret. It is none other than the Reverse Flash, Eobard Thawne, for complicated time travel reasons, still alive and wearing the face of Harrison Wells. They became kind of friends. He taught her how to time travel so she could go meet her dad. And later when she learned Thawne killed her grandma, he's like, hey, I feel bad about that, I'm a changed man now. Now the team found a mirror gun, the only thing that would destroy Cicada's dagger. But it's Ralph who figures out Thawne's master plan. See, the thing dampening his power in the future is Cicada's dagger. This whole time he's been manipulating Nora to go back there so they can destroy it. But the Flash has no choice. He's got to mirror gun the dagger. Boom! Evil dagger destroyed, removing evil Grace from the timeline. Unfortunately, this means the dagger's erased from the future, and just before his execution, Thawne's got his powers back. Because they figured out his plan, the good guys run here to stop him, and they have a little speedster chase for a while. Eventually, Thawne's captured, but wait, what's happening to Nora? All the shenanigans has changed the timeline too much. This version of adult Nora is erased from the timeline. And with all these changes to the timeline, the crisis that Flash disappears in is coming sooner, and now it's finally here, the mega crossover all these CW shows have been leading to, Crisis on Infinite Earths. Long story short, a wave of antimatter energy is destroying the entire multiverse, so all our heroes come together to stop it. But anyway, this is it. To save the multiverse, Barry's gotta sacrifice himself. Of course though, old Flash immediately figures out the obvious loophole, and so 90s Flash takes one for the team and sacrifices himself to save the multiverse. Turns out though, that was totally pointless, the multiverse is destroyed anyway. A select few heroes travel to the dawn of time to face down the Anti-Monitor. It's a big CGI battle. Anti-Monitor 1v1's the Green Arrow, Oliver Queen, who long story short defeats him but dies. Somehow though, his sacrifice restarted the universe, but not a multiverse, it's been condensed into one Earth Prime. Now back to normal shenanigans. YouTuber scientist Chester P. Runk accidentally turned himself into a black hole, so the Flash has to stop a black hole the only way he knows how, by running really fast and punching it in the face. Somehow this actually works, and Chester has to cool off for a while, but by the end of the season he joins Team Flash as a science guy. Now you can't have a season of The Flash without a Harrison Wells. This season it's an Indiana Jones adventurer type who calls himself Nash. And of course one episode, Gorilla Grodd comes back. But this season he claims he feels bad about being a villain, so he and Flash team up to escape his mental prison. Maybe Grodd's a good guy now. Now the main main villain of the first half of the season is Dr. Ramsey Rosso. He's got blood cancer and tries to cure it with dark matter, which as you might expect does not go well. I don't want to use the term vampire, but he does go around sucking out everyone's blood. But the Flash takes him out the only way he knows how, by running real fast and punching him in the face. Now, the main plot this season begins with Allegra Garcia, a young metahuman with ultraviolet light powers. She's wanted for murder, and DA Cecile Horton's prosecuting her, but with her new mind-reading powers, she knows Allegra's innocent. Turns out the killer was her evil cousin Esperanza, who got the same powers and is now a metahuman assassin. Turns out they're dealing with a super secret criminal organization called Black Hole, who employs a bunch of light-themed assassins. The investigation leads them to McCulloch Technologies, and the leader of Black Hole is their CEO, Joseph Carver. One night, Iris is snooping around his dead wife Eva McCulloch's old office. She finds a mysterious mirror, and oh, what's this? Oh, pulled into it! And no one knows Iris is missing because Mirror Iris has taken over her life. And the Flash is losing his speed because the Speed Force died. But if anyone can figure out how to build an artificial Speed Force, it's Harrison Wells. Remember, since Crisis, Nash Wells, the Indiana Jones type, is the only Wells left. But all the other Wells are in his head, so working together, they figure it out. And turns out to make it work, they're gonna have to sacrifice themselves. Oh, run, Barry, run! Flash got his speed back. Long story short, he figures out how to get Iris out of the Mirrorverse, but then she realizes she's gotta put her love into that Speed Force. So now Barry's super speed is literally powered by his and Iris's love. Anyway, Mirror Lady has some dastardly plan to replace all of Central City with mirror clones. Flash busts in to fight her, but he ends up defeating her with his real superpower, emotional heart-to-hearts that convince villains to become good guys. Now, it's not just Harrison Wells leaving Team Flash this season. Ralph Dibny, the elongated man, is leaving too. And Cisco Ramon get more serious with his girlfriend Camilla. In fact, they decide that they want to leave Central City. But he's been training his replacement, Chester P. Runk, who we met last season. He now officially takes over as Team Flash's tech guy, and he brings with him his own cool vibe. Then Team Flash gets another new member, kind of, because Killer Frost and Caitlin separate bodies. I can't even begin to explain the science of why this happens, but in any case, Frost and Caitlin no longer sharing a body, but still sharing an apartment. In fact, Central City has a new ice-powered villain. It's this bartender who goes by Chillblaine, and while he has cold powers, he is super hot. Frost has a huge lady boner for him. Going back to the night when Iris put her love into the artificial Speed Force, there was an unexpected consequence. Turns out that brought the real Speed Force back to life. But it also created other forces of nature that are bad. This hulked out high school wrestler is the Strength Force they call Forza. There's a Fear Force that makes you scared they call Psych. And there's a Time Force who they just call Dion because that's his name. These were all real people that now have these powers. So Barry time travels back to stop them from being created in the first place. But now that he's here, he realizes that because they were created out of his and Iris's love, they're kind of like his children? It turns out Barry is pro-life. He decides to let them be born. So Barry wants to help his kids, but the Speed Force decides they're too dangerous, so attacks them. Yeah, the evil Speed Force is the villain. So it's a family feud as the forces join forces against their evil sister in a nonsense CGI battle, but in the end they defeat her with their real superpower, a heart-to-heart speech that convinces her to be a good guy again. So with all this talk about their children, Iris is like, hey, why don't we make some kids for real? Oh, Barry and Iris getting it on. And speedsters have a built-in pregnancy test, because your grown-up kid from the future will time travel back to be like, congrats, you knocked mom up. Yes, Nora, XS, is back, but she's got a surprise this time, because in this new timeline, Barry and Iris have 2 kids. She's got a younger speedster brother, Bart. But also traveling back from the future is their villain, Godspeed. But what's this? Some more Godspeeds show up and then fight the other Godspeeds. Yeah, there's a Godspeed civil war. They capture one of them who explains why it's happening, but it's complete nonsense. I didn't understand it. But the Flash has to stop it, because if they keep doing bad slow karate at each other, they're gonna tear this city apart. Eventually they track down the real Godspeed, but he's got amnesia. So they send Barry inside his head to talk to him, where he meets the real Godspeed. But he was not born with the speed, it's artificial. He came from the Velocity X formula. And so Barry has no choice. He gives the villain exactly what he wants, and oh, the real full Godspeed is born again, sucks all of his clone robots into himself. So now Godspeed's gonna kill the Flash, but oh, who's this coming in? The Reverse Flash, Eobard Thawne. He's like, what's up, Barry? I'm not gonna let this guy kill you. I have to kill you myself. So for now, they're gonna team up. So for their final battle, Godspeed pulls a new move and turns his speedster lightning into a sword. Yeah, it's lightsaber time. I mean, yeah, just why not? In the end, Darth Godspeed's gonna win, but oh, stabbed by Reverse Flash! So Godspeed was the big bad villain for all of 3 episodes. Season 8 begins with the Armageddon crossover event, although it's not much of a crossover because the Arrowverse is basically done. The villain is Despero, an English soccer hooligan from the future whose real form is a giant pink alien. But he's not here to cause Armageddon, he's here to stop it by killing the Flash, because turns out it's the Flash who goes crazy and destroys the the world. So Barry travels to the future to see how Armageddon happened. Turns out this is all the doing of Barry's arch nemesis, Eobard Thawne, the Reverse Flash. He's altered the timeline to create his own perfect world where he is the Flash, and Barry Allen is his villain, the Reverse Flash. Turns out the secret to resetting the timeline is, you guessed it, run really fast. So fast, in fact, it would destroy the world. Yeah, this is how Barry causes Armageddon. But with the power of Iris's love, he's able to run fast enough to outrun Armageddon, and the day is saved. The Reverse Flash has followed him here, but now he's being erased from the timeline, and instead of letting that happen, Barry decides to save him by taking away his speed, which he is none too pleased about and swears his vengeance. So with Armageddon over, the Flash gets back to his usual antics. The theme of this season is that Team Flash is all leveled up. Like Barry's so fast now, one-off villains of the week like this are not even a threat anymore. His wife Iris has leveled up too. The Central City Citizen is super successful. Dr. Caitlin Snow, remember, now has a separate body from her alter ego Frost, and things are heating up between Frost and Chillblaine, which Caitlin does not approve of. In the future, Barry and Iris's grown-up kids, Nora and Bart, get up to shenanigans. They travel to our time for a minor timeline fix, but instead Bart meets a hot scientist and they start dating. Papa Joe West is happily retired from CCPD. The new police chief is Kristen Kramer, who found out last season she's a meta too, who can temporarily borrow the powers from nearby metas. Barry finally trusts her enough to reveal he's the Flash, but she's like, yeah man, I mean, it's super obvious. Now there's a new villain in town. It's some super scary smoke. It does kill people though, but not with hot fire, with cold fusion. To Caitlin Snow it appears as her dead fiancé Ronnie, but it's obviously not him. But turns out it actually is him. But turns out it's actually not him. It was just using his body for science reasons. His real identity is just a sentient cold fusion monster called Deathstorm. The secret to defeating him is for Frost to level up and get her own cold fusion powers. Now she's Hellfrost and she's able to eat this guy. But what's this? The power overloads her and Frost dies. But Caitlin's resolved to save her sister. She turns her apartment into a secret science lab and recruits Chillblaine to bring Frost back. Does it work? We'll find out. Meanwhile, there's a new speedster in Central City, but it's a good guy. It's Dr. Mina Dawan. She's built a super advanced artificial speed giver, but turns out her partner is the Eobard Thawne, finally wearing his own face. But this version of him really is a good guy. The evil Harrison Wells Thawne is still locked up with no speed. But good Thawne didn't know his machine accidentally taps into the negative speed force, which turns Mina into a villain. Luckily, he and Mina have a romance going, so with the power of love, she's not evil and she gets to be a good guy speedster named Fast Track. Meanwhile, Iris has caught a time sickness, and now that's freed the evil negative forces. These two do the standard move of running around uselessly, while Barry does his standard move of running real fast and throwing a lightning bolt. But this was the negative forces' plan all along, as they teleport Iris here, and oh, it's too late to stop it! Barry kills Iris! But she doesn't die, she turns into green dust and goes into Good Thawne, and for reasons I can't even begin to explain, he's transformed into evil Harrison Wells Thawne. The negative forces make him their avatar, and he gets a huge power boost and a super cool new suit. Iris, meanwhile, doesn't die. She's hanging out with Damien Dark inside his time stone, and he tells her the secret of how to just decide not to be dead anymore. Cecile, by the way, has leveled up her own powers this season. In fact, she's able to talk with the good forces and put on the mask, which somehow brings them back. The positive forces make Barry their avatar, so Barry and Thawne have their final classic speedster battle. In the end, though, Barry realizes the only way to win is not to fight. Thawne goes the other way with it, tries to destroy the whole universe, but it's too much power, and oh, he's exploded, erased from the timeline, again, for good this time. The negative forces were beaten but not defeated. In the future, they're choosing a new avatar, but no matter how many times they come back, Team Flash will be ready to stop them. Well, at least one more time, because Season 9 is finally the final season. And that's where the Flash Season 8 comes to an end.